Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the political situation after we've seen more than 24 PTI leaders resign and say that they will either not be part of PTI or not take part in politics altogether. The ramifications of these developments, very quick developments after the events of May 9th, we've also seen statements come from PTI former leaders saying that they had earlier warned the former Prime Minister of his stance as far as institutions are concerned. How is this going to work? How is this going to pan out for the future of politics as far as PTI as a political party is concerned? A party which the former Prime Minister has always said is the largest party of Pakistan. He's also maintained that the people standing with him have come because of the ideology that PTI stood for. All of these claims, what will eventually happen? What is the fate of this kind of politics that we saw recently by the former Prime Minister, which was a politics that of course involved a lot of slander against institutions? Of course, again, statements by former PTI leaders saying that they had also told the former Prime Minister that they didn't necessarily agree with that style of politics. All of that today on Perspective. We've also seen the government say that there is no compromise, there will be no compromise on accountability as far as those responsible for the events of May 9th are concerned. As far as that is concerned, we see the army, we see all the institutions of the country saying that they stand with that. We also now have a statement, interestingly, from the former Prime Minister saying that who does not condemn what happened on May 9th? Is this a change, or is this also something that he has added to his earlier narrative? Is there a change of narrative as far as the former Prime Minister is concerned? All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Hassan Ayub Khan, who's a journalist. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also have with us Zulfikar Ali Bader from the PPP, spokesperson of Chairman PPP, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and Qaisar Ahmad Sheikh from the PML-N. Thank you for joining us today. Ji, Hassan Saab, like I said, this is, of course, we've seen a spate, more than 24 of PTI leaders say that they have changed their minds about their allegiance to the political party. How do you look at this development, and also the fact that now it seems to be, I mean, of course, the former Prime Minister has been saying that his party is a parliamentary party, a democratic party, all of those things. But now it seems from the statements that are coming that there was some disagreement in the policies that were adopted by the former Prime Minister.
Yes, very true. I mean, there were many differences among the associates of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The most prominent people, I mean, I've seen the 24, more than two dozen, they have disassociated themselves from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. The reason is because, one, they fear awarding of a long sentences, imprisonment, like, for example, the attackers of January 6th of Capitol Hill in USA. I mean, the principal accused, he was sentenced, he is sentenced 18 years imprisonment, and the many others, they were, I mean, obviously, so it's a similar sort of a crime which is being committed here on a May 9th. The state of Pakistan has taken it as a 9/11 for Pakistan. So it's not a joke. So whoever have committed these crimes, I mean, they are surely in trouble. One. And second thing is, the many politicians, they may be anti-establishment, but they cannot be, they are not ready to get a label of anti-state. So this is the difference, because
that's interesting. You're saying that, of course, there's anti-establishment and there's anti-state, and this sort of, transcends into the latter.
So obviously, following the politics of Imran Khan is sort of impossible for them. So that's another reason why they have disassociated from former Prime Minister Imran Khan, and they have left the party. I mean, people like Asad Umar, Imran Ismail, I mean, who was thinking, who had in his mind that they will quit PTI? But eventually they did. Amir Kyani, he's been associated with Imran Khan from the past 35 years maybe. He had a long journey with Imran Khan. And in the end of the day, we have witnessed that he was the first one who left PTI.
But there's also, let me go to Zulfikar Ali Bader. Ji, Zulfikar Saab, can you hear me?
Yes.
Zulfikar Saab, there is, as far as the former Prime Minister himself is concerned, let's for a second go back to what he's saying. He is now saying that he's willing to talk. In fact, he's saying that there should be, for the sake of the country, he's now willing to talk. Secondly, he's also now saying that this is about forced, he's alluding to this being a case of forced divorces. Of course, we've had his people come and say that there's no pressure and all of that. But what does the government have to say to that? What do you have to say to those allegations, those assertions from the former Prime Minister?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Mahrukh, for inviting me. You see, my reply to Mr. Khan on the forced marriage is, when you marry forcefully, you get divorced likewise. And Khan Sahib is enjoying his own recipe. So, I mean, his party, when he started his journey, he had a different philosophy, he had a different narrative. So, after passing some time in 2013 and even in 2018, when he left all his old comrades and the people who were struggling with him, and he started inviting all the electables and all those electables, opportunist electables, they become and they took over the actual place of the original PTI workers and the people who have struggled for years with Mr. Khan. So this party became a party of opportunists, and Mr. Khan had no vision, no competency, and no capability. Somehow, with the help of uh, people who matter, he came into the position of power. He ran the country whatever way he ran, but couldn't deliver. He came out of the power. Now he is desperate to talk because he can see that he has no space left. Because people who are leaving his party does not want to associate them with a party who has been leading in a terrorist manner, who have been asked by the leader to go for a terrorist attack on the state institutions. So these people may be anti-state or maybe anti-establishment, but they are still thinking that what is the dilemma left, that they are confused and they can't decide that where should they go. So people who have made up their mind, and they were people who wanted to do politics for a long time and they never got an opportunity from some other party. So they thought that PTI is the platform and Mr. Khan is the one who can give them a space and break in politics and they can move on. So after the 9th May incident, they don't have that much of space and they can't go anti-state or anti-establishment by uh, being the tag of terrorist in their
I
own
don't think
selves.
this is,
So Mr.
a
Khan is
lot of
very desperate.
a lot of these people have also said that they didn't necessarily agree with the kind of politics that were the style of politics as far as Mr. Khan is concerned, when he was anti-establishment, what we can now even say, anti-state, as far as institutions, politics of, agitation with the institutions, which is what it started from, if you'll see, if we go back, and that was pointed out, but there was a policy that the former Prime Minister was following, and therefore they were following this. Is that also, do you think, part of it?
I personally think Mr. Khan was, you know, uh, running a party like a dictator. He was never in a habit to listen to anyone. He was never in a habit to go for a consensus. He was never in a habit to listen to his leaders or associates. So, whatever he was saying, people had no choice other than listening to him. So at this point of time, the people who are leaving, they had now they got a chance to go for some other platform because they don't see a future in politics for Mr. Khan and the future for politics
Chance
in
of another
PTI plus
platform.
rest of yeah they are
But let
going
me
in
come
a
back.
on to
Let me come
going
back
to
to you. Ji, um, Hassan Saab, there is, as far as the former Prime Minister is concerned, he also says he remains adamant that his popularity is such, even at this time, that it doesn't matter who has his ticket, and that will sell anyway.
I mean, this is something, it's a political statement. He know deep inside his heart it's not true. One thing. Second, everyone knows. I mean, every political student knows PTI is a sinking ship now. Because now the passengers, they are jumping out of that ship. In days to come, you will see a big number of defection within PTI and very prominent names from KP especially. The former CM of KP, Parvez Khattak, he has a big chunk of MPAs and MNAs, former MPAs and MNAs. Those are willing to jump out of PTI, but they are waiting for a right time to do it. So, on the other end, if you go to Lahore, I mean, where the former companion of Imran Khan, Jahangir Khan Tareen, he is actively in touch with many MPs, member of provincial assembly, former member of provincial assemblies, and former members of national assemblies, and many notables from the Punjab, KP, Balochistan and Southern Punjab. So definitely the PTI is going to be divided into many chunks. So because in our national politics, this is a politics in Pakistan, it's more about the Battle of Punjab. Because where the NA National Assembly, approximately 52% seats are from Punjab. So whoever is going to win Punjab is surely going to form a federal government in center. So I see very slim chances for Imran Khan even to get 24 seats from National Assembly
What
in
do you
Punjab.
think he mean? What do you think he's trying to say when he says now that he's willing to talk? What kind of a deal is he expecting?
Demanding for NRO, I must say, because he has many criminal cases against him, especially there are many very serious ones. I mean, the May 9th incident, obviously it has come on a surface that there were planners and there were few executors. So those who have planned, they are surely be trialed under the Army Act in military courts, and those who executed it, they will also be having this similar fate. So altogether, I must say, Imran Khan in a recent past, from the past year and a half, he has played a very irresponsible role by attacking establishment and the state and our establishment institutions. They have responded very maturely. Even on a 9th May, if you remember, there was an attack on Corps Commander Lahore House, on a residence of Corps Commander Lahore, but there were no action by the military against those who attacked. So they remain calm, and now, after the investigation, after the inquiry, after getting to the right people, they have started arresting. And those now they are going into the courts and they are facing the trial.
Let me come back to you.
Yeah.
Ji, Zulfikar Sahab, as far as the NRO, of course, we saw the statements that came from the former Prime Minister regarding an NRO and how he was vehemently against giving what he termed as an NRO, and he said that the earlier government, your government, many people from the PDM also, and he said that he would not, and it's now, according to Hassan, Ayub here, and a lot of people generally also, it is believed, is it the same NRO that he is seeking himself?
He is seeking NRO in a state of position that he wants to get out of this trouble. He wants his cases to be sorted out, and he should be given a chance to come back on the table and renegotiate. And he wants to basically wanted to get an acquittal from this 9 May incident, and he is looking forward towards the courts and honorable judges that somehow things should be settled down and he should be given a chance, which he is not going to get, because whatever he has done, that's a black spot in the history of Pakistan, because he is the main culprit who actually instigated and provoked the people of his party and leaders of his party to go and attack on that particular
He's the one who's
different
not
side.
in. He went. Of course, he was. He wasn't charged when the investigation that happened was overnight. He was held overnight, and then we saw what happened, the events of May 9th, and now, of course, is there an investigation happening as far as Mr. Khan himself is concerned also? Because we are looking at his people being taken, investigated, and bails also granted in some case, not granted, re-arrests, all of those things. But for Mr. Khan himself,
Mr. Khan had been given a blanket bail by the honorable judges of the High Court, which is unprecedented. Because I have never seen in my entire life and in my legal career that any person, especially since the NAB laws are implemented in Pakistan, ever person who have been arrested or who have been called upon by the NAB or who have been arrested by the NAB in the physical remand, so their remand gets suspended by the Honorable Supreme Court, and they get a blanket bail, even for the cases which even for the crimes or even for the acts he have not even done, and he gets a bail for those as well. So this is an unprecedented uh, matter which have been given a favor to him by the courts. So what he is looking for, that he wants something that he should not be tried, he should not be arrested, he should not be asked for all the sins, all the crimes, all the wrongdoings he have done uh, in his career as a prime minister, or so far whatever he has done so far as a terrorist chief of a political party. He is looking for a way out, that somehow he should be given a forgiveness and he should be pardoned for this reason. That's the reason. So his arrogance is, slashed down, and he's looking for he's asking for negotiation, and that I am ready to sit down and negotiate for whatever reason for the sake of country. It's not about the country, it's not about the people of Pakistan, it's not about the people of PTI or his leaders, it's about his own self, because he's a self-centered, selfish person who is only focused on himself. That's the reason he's asking, that he's saying that he can come and have negotiation with the government, though he has never officially asked it. Because if he wanted to actually go for a negotiation, he would have gone for a long time. But now he have no choice. He'll have to face the music for what he have done and given an irreparable loss and damage to the institutions and to the public, property.
let me come back to you. Hassan, overall, of course, we've also seen this new decision as far as the commission that was formed by the government. And we saw the remarks of Justice Qazi Faiz Isa also. There's, of course, clearly we've seen a division within the Supreme Court also, the Superior Judiciary also. How do you think that these latest events are going to, pan out within the Supreme Court also? On the one hand, we see the Chief Justice also, when he's adjudicating, he makes remarks, and then these remarks have also come. There's obviously they're not seeing eye to eye, so to speak. So how do you think it's going to how is it going to bode for the overall political scenario?
It's very unfortunate. I mean, what we have witnessed in the recent 3-4 months, what's been happening within Supreme Court, and there's a division within the judges. Earlier, the division, I mean, we were getting this information that okay, they're having some issues. Then some have the issues within the bench while they were sitting in the courtrooms. But later, we have seen the differences in their judicial orders. and not only we have seen it, the whole world have seen it. So I mean, even the constitution of the 5-member bench on this inquiry commission, itself was very shocking for me as well, because the mother-in-law of the CJP, she had that audio in the public domain. So after sorry, you were about to say something?
But the question, of course, let me interject, is that, you know, when there is this kind of division that we now see within the Supreme Court, it's going to obviously affect the cases, it's going to affect the legal outcome also, it's going to affect the overall, the legal process at this time, and the way that it looks out as far as the political realities at this time. Of course, we are looking at the election case, now this audio leaks also is another matter.
Yes. I mean, obviously, I mean, from another 3 to 4 months,
it's going to stay like this.
It has to be, it will remain the same, because there is no flexibility from any side. I mean, there are two sides. One is the like-minded judges of CJP, and the other are the anti-like-minded judges of Chief Justice Umar Bandial. So this division is so strong now
that it's going to have it.
Earlier they were not even having the talking terms. And now, thank God, I mean, the news is coming that they have started talking to each other. But there is another information I would like to share it with you, that Imran Khan has formed a 7-member dialogue committee headed by Shah Mahmood Qureshi, which includes Asad Umar, Parvez Khatak, On Pabi, Murad Saeed, Hamad Azhar, and Halim Adil Sheikh. That's the news.
Let's go to Qaisar Ahmad Sheikh from the PML-N. Qaisar Sahab, what are your comments about this dialogue committee that is going to initiate dialogues, I believe, for the former Prime Minister?
Yes, it is now the same. Many people now have already left PTI. It was the committee formed about 3-4 weeks ago. So presently, you see what is the next scenario. You are rightly mentioning that there is a clear-cut division in the Supreme Court, and one bench just has stopped inquiry, which was initiated by
But Qaisar Sahab, what about this committee? What kind of, are you also going to form a committee that's going to have this dialogue with the former Prime Minister and this 6-member committee that he's formed?
I feel now it is not the proper time. You see that after 9th May, what happened is a new scenario. I don't understand, because most of the members mentioned in that committee, I think, are no longer in PTI. So, what is the logic of that committee, and how can we form a committee to negotiate and discuss with them?
And Qaisar Sahab, what is the agenda as far as for any committee that the former Prime Minister forms? What is the dialogue going to be about? Is there, you know, we've also had comments from your party as far as banning of the PTI is concerned, that it's under consideration. Do you think that that might happen?
I don't think now this is any useful formation of committee at this period, because now the whole scenario has changed, and it is not now the time to negotiate and to discuss. Presently, the election is very near. Election are to be held in October. 8th October is the date already given by the Election Commission. So now our time of tenure of this National Assembly is up to 12th of August. So it's about two months and few days left. And after budget, immediately after budget, the budget is very important. Budget session is in June, and immediately after budget, I think there will be thinking about the next election. So that was the committee formulated for date of election. I think it is now the things are not relevant at present. This is different scenario now, and I don't feel any.
But Qaisar Sahab, the former Prime Minister says that if he is in the running, he believes that he is still so popular that it doesn't matter who's contesting on his ticket. Is that, would you agree with that position? Do you think he's going to be in the running at all? How do you look at it? Of course, there are also a lot of cases pending against him.
He thinks that he's so popular and the vote is on the name of a PTI, but you see in the parliamentary system, votes are the candidate votes obtained and achieved, and the people vote for the candidate as well as for the party. Now, for example, in my Chennot area, the candidate who was contesting against me since last 5 elections, he and his family, he is no longer a member of that PTI. So I don't know who is the main candidate who has to contest against me. And it is not a matter of party only. In our areas, particularly in areas where there is big land holding, or in South Punjab, this is not only the popularity of the party. That is, electable people are still important, and I very much understand. I have already contested 6 elections. In our area, you see, only there are 2-3 candidates, and those are the candidates now. You see, if he feels that he is a popular, it is his right to feel like that. And okay, the elections are to be held in time. Up to now, there is no change in the date of election, and elections are going to be held in October. And our tenure is valid. I mentioned to you about 12th of August.
How, as you know, as an experienced politician, how relevant is the phenomena of electables in this kind of an election, where the kind of board, the chess board that is now set at this time? How important do you think this electables phenomena is in Punjab, in the South, in all over, so to speak?
You see, in Sindh it is more important. Candidates are more relevant, but party is also, of course, important. But in all these areas, the candidates are important, of course. It is both the candidates and the party. You see, there are in each and every constituency there are 3 to 4 maximum candidates, and those candidates have been being elected since long. It is not so easy to create a new candidate. And if, for example, in provincial assemblies now, the tickets were allotted by the tickets were allotted by PTI recently, and we have seen that they made some changes. But people when they went to their constituencies and to get votes, it was very difficult, I can say, because they had their own grouping in the party. When there is 3-4 groups and they allocate ticket to one person, the other person even become, they don't coordinate and cooperate with the person who gets the ticket, but rather they are opposing that candidate, because they feel that if he wins, that particular candidate wins, then there is even next time the chances of the other candidates become dim. So it is multiple factors which are important. Of course, there are 3-4 main parties in Pakistan, but I definitely can tell you that candidate is very important.
Right, fair enough. Qaisar sir, please stay with us. I'll come back to you. I want to talk about the economic situation that is also dependent in a lot of ways on what's happening politically. Hassan sir, like Qaisar is saying, he's saying it's a lot real politics, and then he's talking about the phenomena of electables, also the fact that of course the day of the elections is also very important. All of these factors are very much there. As far as the situation at this time is concerned, with a fragmented party, that's what it looks like. Yeah. It's going to be, and with the cases that the former Prime Minister himself is facing, and his whole narrative of accountability, is it going to be, do you think that itself has been dented sufficiently?
Of course, yes. His party is badly affected. Like the Qaisar Sahab said, in his constituency, he's from Chennot, and I believe is NA 100. So his opponent name was Zulfikar Ali Shah. Zulfikar Ali Shah, I mean, the last election he lost from 600 and few votes from Qaisar Sheikh Sahab. So I mean, he was a very strong opponent. but he was among the first ones those disassociated themselves from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. He came to Islamabad, he held his press conference here in National Press Club, and he said that the same thing, that okay, I was not agreed with the anti-establishment narrative, but even it was acceptable for me. But 9th May, it was the anti-state action, and I cannot go along with Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. So now, in that constituency, I'm just giving you one example. In that constituency, there is no replacement of Zulfikar Ali Shah now with PTI. So a man who holds acres of land, he has his own areas, the areas are even underneath his names. You know, that's how big feudal landlord he is. So now, he's no more with PTI. So his substitute, there's no substitute. So if he's not going to contest, then definitely the PML-N, definitely they have a strong footings in Punjab. So Punjab is the main which is going to make the big difference in the national politics. So in Punjab, PTI is in a deep trouble.
But it depends. I mean, these people who have chosen to disassociate themselves, there also a lot of them are saying that they are not going to participate in politics at the moment, but they might choose to go another way also, as far as other political parties.
At the end of the day, they will never let their supporters to go and vote for some next man. I mean, it's something which is built in the politicians. If one person, supposedly, if he's disqualified somehow, he will not let the other one to be a stronger figure or to hold his constituency. So everyone wants to defend his constituency. If he himself is disqualified, he will have his own brother, his cousin, his relative, but he wants to keep it within family, because in Punjab, the families, they mean a lot. In Punjab, obviously in the city areas, there it's mostly a party vote bank, but in the rural side, I mean, it's what the families, they matter a lot. But there's another thing I wanted to add, because the dialogue committee, which was constituted by President PTI, the president of PTI is not included in that party, Parvez Ali. So imagine that Imran Khan has no trust on Parvez Ali, and the reason is because. But
according to Qaisar Sahib, he's saying a lot of the names are no longer with the PTI, the names within the party.
Like
Asad Umar, for example.
Asad Umar is still with PTI, but he has resigned from the central executive membership as well as the secretary generalship of the PTI. But the other names, all names are still with PTI. Murad Saeed, Hamad Azhar, Halim Adil Sheikh, Parvez Khattak, Asad Umar, Shah Mahmud Qureshi, On Pabi. So there are 7-member committee.
But the government, of course, is saying
that the president who make an announcement that I am not going to defect from PTI, his name is not included. The reason is because Imran Khan Sahib has no trust on his president. And now the president, according to my information, he has tried his best to return to his party PML-Q, but Chaudhry Shujaat Hussain, he refused to accept him.
Let me go to Qaisar Sahib. Qaisar Sahib, what happens, of course, we are, at this time, we've earlier also spoken on this, that there is, of course, the situation as far as economy is concerned is certainly still precarious as far as the dollar situation is concerned, overall inflation is concerned. Of course, your party and the government at this time is doing its best to control that. Political situation, do you think it's going to get calmer now? We saw Maryam Nawaz speak yesterday in Vihari, and she said that she feels that it's already stabilized. Do you agree? Do you think that it's going to have an effect on the economic side also? Like you said, the budget is also very important.
Mahrukh, yesterday we had a very big meeting. I arranged a meeting. Honorable Prime Minister was in Karachi, and I invited him, and there were all stakeholders who matter. There were importers, exporters, industrialists of all sectors, of textile, leather, and garments, and then rice. So all were there, and we had a detailed meeting. Mahrukh, it is a precarious, you said rightly, precarious position. The things are not, our condition is not as well. But you think our government definitely is trying, our Prime Minister and other cabinet members, of course, Finance Minister, they are trying their best. But you see, the things are much more has to be done. I have always been advocating, but this is not the routine budget. You have to do lot of more things. You have to create, generate more revenues. There is a revenue being you see on various occasions have to be collected because presently the higher rate of exchange, there should have been more revenue. The collection of revenue is already short by 400 billion, and already because the import has been curtailed. But still, there should have been measures which avian of revenues should be avoided, and more sale tax has to be collected, more duty has to be collected, customs and income tax also. And this situation, you see, dollar cannot be controlled, even if the import now is being curtailed, but with that revenue is becoming less, and with the less imports, the shortage of goods is being created. Industries are not running at full capacity, and then there is an unemployment. So, of course, we must. I know that IMF was creating a lot of hurdles, but still we have no other options available. We have to find some solution to make amicable settlement with the IMF. Maybe that we should add some more members in our economic team because the whole country is suffering. The inflation, I feel that the inflation can even be enhanced because there is a shortage of goods and import is less. And with the increase in price of US dollar, the natural thing was that our import has to be curtailed and export to be increased. But there has not been increase in the export because we don't have the surplus goods to export. And similarly, the interest rate is so high. It's about 2%, the prime rate. And at this stage, no industry can be established. And
Qaisar Saab, what does the common man look forward to as far as economy is concerned? Do you expect things to stabilize?
I'm afraid I don't expect. It is not that what government is doing. You see, it is the last 30 years our extra expenditures which we made and more debts. You see, at present our interest is equal to the whole revenue, almost the whole revenue, and we don't have any surplus for development.
But of course, this is going to be an election year, and the budget, of course, people will expect a lot of it to be people friendly. Let me come back to you on that. Ji, Zulfikar Saab, we're also running out of time, but do you expect there to be, as far as things to stabilize somewhat now? Or do you think, because of course we have been imploring for political stability, and that was one of the reasons why dialogue was also initiated earlier on with the former Prime Minister, so that there could be things we could do better economically also.
Mahrukh, we can only have stability in this country. The fourth and first stability, what we need is political stability, and that is also economic stability. They can only come once we are economically stable, and economically we can only become stable. We have enough revenue coming within the country that we don't look towards any foreign aid or IMF or any other donor agency. And this can be done only by the working of and taking the right decisions and taking all the stakeholders on board and talking to them. So rather having the indirect taxes, we should also focus to have the direct taxes collection, because currently right now we are a population of 250 million, and less than 1% of the people are paying the direct taxes. So how can we run the country when less than 1% of the people are paying taxes, direct taxes? Otherwise, if we don't collect the indirect taxes, otherwise we can't even complete our targets. We can't even achieve our targets. So the government, not even this government, all the governments in the past they have failed and they were unable to, increase the revenue collection in this country. And the only solution in this economic stability and political stability, that we start collecting the tax from not the 99% of the people, but the 49 or 50% of the people who are actually stable and who are making money in this country. They should be brought into the circle where they should be contributing to the revenues of this country. And that is the turning point of our country, where we don't have to look towards any other foreign institute or any donor agency to help us or to donate
Right,
us
fair
or
enough.
to give
Unfortunately,
us the
that's all the
loan.
time that we have. Thank you so much for being with us. Hassan Ayub Khan, thank you for being with us today. Zulfikar Ali Bader, thank you for joining us. Qaisar Ahmad Sheikh, thank you for being with us today. As far as the overall situation is concerned, certainly political stability is the need of the hour. We've seen the events of 9th May, and of course, those have shaken the entire nation. With the result, of course, that everybody is on board as far as ensuring that there should be accountability on that. Let's hope that we can move forward into more stability for Pakistan, which will translate into economic stability at this time, and we can move on from the events of 9th May. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.